Watch me tackle Rassie's two-team strategy and my predictions for each team. Welcome back to SkinnyBru Rugby. So Rassie Erasmus has made no secret of him intending to pick two teams for the game against Australia and the other subsequent game against New Zealand. With the New Zealand team flying out over this coming week, and the bench and head coaches also flying out straight after the Australian game, it's going to be definite that there are two starting teams in the coming weeks and a definite bench that will bench for both teams. The rest of the team that's playing against the Aussies this week though will be joining the other team over in New Zealand later next week to help them prepare for that match. Everybody has had different opinions. On the one hand, you can test out new combos in the team, but on the other hand, you could have had settled your combos and your starting team and have them play a little bit more together. They have been talking about playing a winning brand of rugby and winning at all costs, so you should then probably play your best team versus the team like the All Blacks. So it would probably not be realistic to win against the Aussies over in Johannesburg and then the week after win against the All Blacks in New Zealand. So that's why they went with best of both worlds and balanced the team out, split it up into two definite groups and made both teams prepare only for that one game. It is good for me. I like this strategy because a lot of the guys that are coming back from injury are going to get a shot to play again, while other guys that you would not want to get injured before the World Cup would also not be such a big risk playing a lot of games before the World Cup. I'm so excited for the international rugby coming up. I just can't wait for this weekend. I hope you are just as excited as I am, and if you are, hit that subscribe button so that you can watch the rest of my videos as they come out. Let's get into the teams that Rassie will pick. These are the teams I expect him to choose. At loosehead prop, there are three options: Gqoboka, Kitshoff and the Beast. Gqoboka, he's probably the best player on form between those three. Based on history though, Rassie would probably go with experience and pick the Beast to start against the All Blacks, and also giving him another week of resting time after his injury he had this season. Kitshoff, he would most likely then start against the Aussies. At hooker, we have Marx. He's probably one of the few players in this group who is certainly in the number one spot at his position. Mbonambi would probably go to the bench against the Aussies. And then Brits' experience from the bench in both games will really matter. At tight head prop, it's pretty difficult to call actually. Koch, he has been good. Trevor Nyakane and De Toey, they've also been playing well. But for me, Malherbe would probably play. He's been Rassie's favourite at tight head recently. At number 4 lock, it's already been said that Etzebeth will be captaining the side against Australia. He had an injury actually this season, so it's good for him to play in that game again. In most circumstances, I would probably have backed him to be favourite to play against the All Blacks, but with him now captaining the side against the Wallabies, I would probably go with Snyman to play against the All Blacks the coming week. If he does not go with that, he would probably go with Etzebeth to start in both games, but that is more unlikely though. At the number 5 lock, there are three options: Mostert, De Jager and Ori. I think De Jager, as Rassie said, will play in this game if he actually pulled through in the Bulls game. So I think he would start next to Eben Etzebeth at number 5. So that means Mostert would probably start against the All Blacks the week after that. That's very good because he actually has a good combination with Marx at line-out time. And I think Ori would find himself on the bench for both games. At blindside flank, Kolisi has been injured for a long time now and he is still injured. The injury cover that actually came in is Van Staden. Then Kutsia, he could play number 6 and 7. And Kwagga Smith, Rassie has already said that he will start at blindside flank against the All Blacks in the next two games. So for me, I'd probably go with Van Staden to be picked at number 6 for the box. Open side flanker, there are 4 options: Pieter Steph du Toit, Alstad low, and as I said, Kutsia could also play there. Pieter stepped away after that massive game he had last year against the All Blacks. Who would not want to see him play in that game again? He has been injured though, but I would back him to actually start against the All Blacks, and Kutsia, who could get a start against the Wallabies in this week that is coming. Then I'd probably say Alstad would go on the bench because he could cover lock and loose forward. At number 8, there's actually only one specialist. Number 8, we have Vermeulen, so he is favourite to start against the All Blacks every week. I think he'd probably captain that game as well. Kwagga Smith could also play number 8, but they already said he's going to play blindside flank, so I'd probably go with Francois Lowe at number 8 against the Wallabies. Scrum half is actually pretty easy to pick. Faf de Klerk, he's favourite for sure. Reinach, he will start against the Wallabies, and then Jantjies, I think he will get minimal game time against the Wallabies and the All Blacks from the bench. At fly half, Pollard and Jantjies, we all know which one is the favourite at number 10 at the moment, especially after this season. Pollard would be playing against the All Blacks and Jantjies against the Wallabies. Inside centre, here I'll probably get some comments down below. Hopefully more good ones than bad ones, but I think Damien de Allende will still be preferred by Rassie. He has preferred him in the past. And then Esterhuizen would probably start against the Wallabies. To me, Steyn, he is a great player to have from the bench in both games, and we can use him as a great impact player in the future, especially to get a guy on with experience in that tough times in a game. He can play fly half, centre and fullback, so it's a great utility player to have on the bench, and he could win a couple of games for us there at the end with massive kicks from him. At outside centre, it's I've always liked this guy, he's very good, and Creel, who was injured though, so he might miss out, but to me, Rassie has always favoured that the Islander Creel combination, so I think he'd prefer that one again for the All Blacks, so would step up against Australia. But that would be pretty good though, because you would have that Sharks combo in the midfield against the Wallabies, and they have not really stepped up on international level when playing together, so I think it's pretty good for them to actually get a shot at international level again. At left wing, forgive me for saying, but the only guy that's actually been playing well between these three is Mapimpi. He's been scoring on a consistent basis. Diantje, he's not been in the best form, and he's also been announced injured as well, so he's also going to miss out anyway on this game. Lades, he's set up a lot of tries actually this year, and he hasn't scored as much as he usually does. I always used to refer to him as a player that scores at any cost. He scores in any game, but in this year not so much. So for me, I would have picked Diantje to start against the All Blacks, just on how I think Rassie would have picked, and Mapimpi to play against the Wallabies, and then Lades from the bench because he is a good player to have on the bench. But now at the moment it is actually quite difficult to call, so I think Mapimpi will start against the All Blacks, and then Lades would probably start against the Wallabies. At right wing, even though Colby has had a great season this year, overshadowing Corsi's performances by a mile, I think Rassie will prefer Nkosi again and put Colby on the bench though. Otherwise he might move Colby to the left wing in the All Black game, but I think Colby would be playing against the Wallabies in this week. And then we have a pretty tough call to make who's going to be that last bench spot, because I would have went with Lades to be on the last bench spot. At fullback we have Leroux. He will start against the All Blacks for sure, and Galant to play against the Wallabies. There's only one player then that has not made any team that would be on the backups then. It would be Thomas du Toit. So that's the teams I think Rassie will go for in these two games. Let me know what you think. Also ask a few questions if you maybe want to understand my reasoning a little bit more. If you want to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Cheers.